All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, gang. Trying to do the streaming thing a little bit more official for everybody so we get a little bit more interaction, a little bit more value, more consistency for you guys. Obviously, I want to make sure that we're building this community based off of value, consistency, obviously a lot of profits as well. Let me just make sure I have everything going on here in the stream for you guys as well. All right, you guys can in fact see me. Can you guys hear me too? All right, you guys can in fact hear me. All right, so just real quick, I got my phone here. I'm taking a look at any and all comments, questions that you guys may have. I apologize for how I look. I'm not a morning person, so I always look crazy in the morning, so I apologize for that in advance. But of course, since we're on a call today, I definitely want to make sure that I'm answering any and all questions that you guys may have. Really make sure that, again, I really want to build this community. I want to build this stream. I want to build this YouTube. So I'm trying to make it as, consistent and profitable and obviously valuable to you guys. So I really want to make the quality of the stream a lot better. I know I'm like missing some things on the bottom over here, it looks like, but I'm gonna fill that in with some links, Facebook contacts and everything as well. So that way you guys obviously have a better and high quality stream as we continue to move forward and grow this YouTube. So again, thank you guys for being on with me today. I know a lot of you guys are legacy students. For my students, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You guys have no idea what you guys mean to me. It's really important that I give back to the community as well. This forex trading community is kind of crazy, so I really want to make sure that we that I give back as much as I possibly can to anybody who's obviously willing to listen to what I have to say as far as trading is concerned. So let me see what we have so far. All right, so I will be taking a look at any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, markets that you guys want to take a look at. But I will be taking a quick look at a few charts that I personally trade, such as gold, GJ, which is killing me at this point. and a few other markets that I personally trade on a daily basis. Now, these pairs for me, usually I get a lot of home runs on these. They try to, or for me, I try to be as technical as possible with the majority of all of my trading, and really try to identify where the market is going to set up on a technical standpoint for entries. If you notice, a lot of my trading styles is as simple as possible. I'm not going to overcomplicate anything that I'm doing. I'm going to try to be just 1, 2, 3 ABC. You know, just break it down to the bare minimum or to the bare bone. Like try to keep everything as detailed as possible, but not confuse anybody. What we do as far as trading is concerned, it is kind of, I would say, difficult to wrap your head around a lot of the concepts that are out there. That's why I try to keep it as simple as possible for you guys to understand a lot better. So, what's good? This looks good, does it? All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying, man. I really am. I want to make this as valuable to you guys. Really make sure that I'm giving back to you guys. This is also probably how it'll be set up for our Zoom calls as well. I like the Zoom calls to be more personal with you guys as well. Give you guys more along the lines of, ask whatever questions that you guys want. But yeah, I really wanted to give this this YouTube thing a real try. So might as well. I see a lot of people, a lot of other individuals and traders who stream, who have successful YouTube channels, and I'm like, why not? Like I know what I'm doing, if not sometimes better than the majority of some people. Not trying to, no shots fired, but at the same time, I know my capabilities. Even though I've kind of been like on a little downside, transparency, I mean, the conditions of the markets have been a little bit crazy. So I figured, why not? But again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free to let me know. I am taking a look here on my phone. If you guys have anything, I will get this all set up. I'm getting my entire like little office thing here set up so that way I can have everything perfectly set up for you guys. But as you see, it's continuing. I got you guys. So what I will do real quick is take a look at gold, which is one of my favorite pairs to trade, and see what that's doing. I mean, I know right now it's in a strong buy, or was in a strong buy. I was actually able to get into some of those buys yesterday. But what we can see real quick is our previous analysis from yesterday. And I might have to, because I don't have my contacts in, so if you see me like super zoomed in, so I apologize. But this is actually yesterday's analysis on what we're currently previously looking at, in the sense of what the market was initially doing. So we're going to go back and identify exactly what that was. So if we actually go here, we were actually, if I'm correct, we were looking along that area in the market. And we can see here we had a valid trend line, this trend line being the fact that we had our initial base being the start of your trend line, second touch, and then you had your third touch here. So I was expecting for the market to kind of give us an idea from here, whether it wanted to respect that trend line and really show us what it wanted to do, or in fact break above that trend line and continue to be bullish and obviously hit those resistance points. So me seeing something like that, I kind of identified the fact that if we got some respect here, it will come crashing back down at least to this level of previous, what used to be resistance is now a level of support. And you can see here, I'm going to try to slow this down before it just like goes crazy. The market came back to that range. Now it's not. Okay, there we go. And you can see how it started playing around within the idea of the resistance and the trend line. But you can see here, it did come back to that price level. Now, my zone is never going to be this big. That's ridiculous. But if my zone was to be perfect, if I drew it out the way that it should be, it did in fact, retest that level of structure. And you can see the bullish sentiment from there. So we broke the initial trend line, and then we actually, well, not here, but we were eventually able to break the initial trend line and also that level of structure, which then would determine the market is more along the lines of bullish. And we can see that currently. And it should come back up to this level of resistance here. And I know currently it has broken that. And you can see as it came back just roughly around this zone. Again, my zones are never this big, but it did in fact come roughly within that area of price. And you can see how it had a correction right back down to a level of structure. We could have gotten some re-entry buys on this. This is exactly why we went over this yesterday. The previous analysis did in fact set up perfectly. And what the market right now for gold is showing us is continued buys, since we currently have that now new break. Since we have now a current break of the highs, now it's not closed. I know we still have, about 15 minutes or so for this candlestick to close above this level of structure. And if I'm correct, the 4 hours should be closing here soon as well. I know I'm squinting like crazy. I'll make sure I get my contacts in early. Within 2 hours, this 4 hour candle will close. So not too far behind, right? So what we'll be able to identify is more potential buys with gold. Let me just make sure that we're good. GU, please. Yes, I definitely got you, Jocelyn. GU, absolutely. GU's annoying me. All these pairs are annoying me. they're insane. But I think we were actually looking for a bullish bias on that yesterday, and it's just ranging, chilling around there. So again, since I see the idea, and which is good because we're looking for a bullish bias with gold continuing to push up higher, hopefully that weakens the dollar because it's kind of like the correlation between the two have not been that solid as of late. So right now, since we are seeing a break above the highs here on gold, I do want to see continued buys. So we already see if trend line is broken, we look for buys. Entries vary because obviously there's going to be different areas or different ideas as the market develops where our entries should be taken. So as you can see here, our entries should have been, and this is exactly why we went over this yesterday. I dropped analysis, make sure you guys understood, and it did exactly what we identified. It broke above the trend line. Since we have the break above the trend line and said structure here, it came back to retest said structure and starts to become a lot more bullish. So what can we do here? In this sense, let's just delete a few things before we continue. And if you guys hear any noise in the background, I'm sorry. I think there's like a tornado outside. I live in New York City, so it's always noisy, but it is ridiculously windy outside right now. So what we can do is we'll delete a few more things. Again, I don't like too much on my chart to be, so that way I'm not confused. That was not deleting for a second. So we can see the break above, and I'm going to leave the other structure here too, so that way you can see what could have been the re-entry buy that caused this current impulsive move. But what we can see is since we have a break above, let's actually just highlight that. And then I'll go take a look at GU for you, Jocelyn. I got you. Break above structure equals continued. Wow, I got to put my contacts in. Continued buys. I know I look crazy right now squinting and not being able to see much, but. And then I also have here support is broken. We look for continued sales. That's completely out of the question now. So since we actually see the current break above, we should be looking for what? Now, I know a lot of people like to trade the initial breakout. I personally do not. Let me just make sure you guys are good. Okay. So I personally do not trade the breakout of any market. Well, it depends. You know, I mean, depends on the breakout. Depends if you're getting in a little bit earlier. If you can identify the breakout before it happens, there are some ways to actually do that. So for me, I'm going to look for the retest here. Now, it doesn't matter where this goes as far as the bullish move. I want to just see it make the move and then get tired. Because once I see that this market get a little bit tired, then I can draw what's called a Fibonacci Retracement tool. Now, I don't think I'm going to draw it out on this candle because this is now just broken above that structure point, which could give you more bullish volatility. Now, does that mean you could place a buy trade at the breakout? Yes, you can trade breakout patterns or breakouts in general. That's not my forte. That's not my trade style. I like to allow the market to truly develop because what could happen is, especially with a strong impulse like this could be, I know there's really no news coming out. If I'm correct, there shouldn't be any news for any U.S. cross pairs. I might be incorrect. If I am, I apologize. Actually, let's do this. There we go. Yeah, no news for the U.S. dollar. I don't know why I didn't just come over here and check. But we did have previous news on some other pairs, but not on the dollar. But here on gold, we can see we have a strong impulsive bullish move to the upside. So this is all a technical standpoint, which could lead to a little bit more of a buyers trying to take over, but that momentum will kind of run out here soon. So if it does run out, we should be looking for a potential correction right back down to that range. Now, obviously, I don't know where this market is going to impulse to the upside to. We can take a look and potentially identify that by taking a Fibonacci extension. If you guys are not familiar with the Fibonacci extension, all it is basically a projection of where the market, the new impulse, which we're currently looking at, should intend on going. So let's actually go from swing low here, swing high. And if anybody's like, oh, you're supposed to do it from the correction, they're wrong. So we're going to put it to where it's supposed to be. Now we're looking at one of these three levels, 127, 141, or the 168. Me personally, I don't ever have a specific ratio, whether it's a Fibonacci extension and or retracement that I personally like to always go for, like, ooh, the 618, the golden ratio. No, I use them all. Now what I will do is kind of look left to see if there's any previous structure that could line up with this, and there kind of is. Now, ironically, I'm over here talking about the 618, but the 618 right here does seem as if it is our better chance to identify potential sells, because you can actually do a counter trend trade. Pretty much self-explanatory. You're going against the initial bullish trend, looking for sells. Or you could just look for potential buy re-entries there. Really simple. You know what I mean? Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know I kind of like went off on gold really quick, but that's just to get it started off with, just to get us into the motion of the stream, get everybody acclimated. Good morning. What's good, everybody? I know it's early, but I want to make sure that we're getting on at a good time. As the markets are developing and as we are continuing, there could be potential opportunities for trades. So I want to make sure we do that. So I'm actually going to do this. What is this, on the 4 hour? So let me go ahead. Actually, I'll delete some of this stuff here, because we can always put that back. You guys have the idea of what we were previously looking at. So what I can't see here is, again, so we're going to look at this as our potential sells to our buy zone. That's important that we understand that. We're not looking for a reversal and this is going to go down for a million pips. No, we're looking for this before a counter trend trade, because we're going against the initial trend. We can see that there is some form of confluence. What used to be support will end up being a level of resistance. Excuse me. You can also see here that we have confluence of the 61.8 Fibonacci extension ratio, which could mean that there should be some type of resistance there. Hint, hint. And if that's the case, we could look for a sell right back down to our buy zones. Because since we have just broken above previous structure here, this would be considered a support range. Let me get rid of this. So support range. And with that support range, that will be considered our buy zone. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helps. Let me see what you guys got. Get in the retest. Exactly, Rome. Exactly. You get in at the initial retest. So that way you give yourself a better opportunity to, like, the probabilities would be in your favor, right? Especially with gold. You don't want to mess around with gold and this thing just goes completely against you. So this right here is a solid setup for potential sells from here, at least back down to this previous range. From here, if we do start to see some pullbacks or the idea of a retracement, then we can use our Fibonacci retracement tool, at least on the 1 hour time frame, this time frame that we were previously speaking on. And if it doesn't reach there, let's say it doesn't reach this potential resistance and it just comes back down to here, I would definitely look for buys up until that point and then do something like that. And maybe it can come back up. Maybe it'll do whatever it wants. It'll show us what it wants. We can't miss Cleo this too much. You know what I mean? We can't tell the future too much. But I might have aged myself on that one. Probably have like some young viewers that be like, who's Miss Cleo? But yeah, I would see the idea of this market kind of giving us this idea, which I would want, because that'll give us some dollar weakness. Speaking on that, we'll go take a look at Jocelyn's Gbp Usd. But enter. So this is actually, I mean, it wasn't working out at first. It was beautiful. And then it started not going in our favor, and now it's kind of like right back into, it should be back into small profits. But let me, thank God I got some water here. Hold up. This is difficult. You guys don't think educating is hard? I give it up to like real teachers, like people who actually teach, like professors. They do this all day. They got to talk all day. I didn't realize how difficult it was. I always wonder why that. One of my teachers always had, it was like the size of a cooler, and it was always, it's crazy. It was always Kool-Aid too. And they just drank that like every single day, and I see why. You get parched very fast doing these. All right, so looking at Gbp Usd, there was previous analysis. I did delete it so that way we can actually, because I figured I was going to take a look at GU anyway today. I wanted to go over the overall analysis of what I previously looked at, what's currently happening, and what I still believe is going to happen with this initial pair. So we'll actually scale out to a higher time frame to get a stronger understanding. So probably have to go out to the weekly if I'm correct. Is this it? No. Okay, there was another pound pair with had a strong break and a retest of a weekly and or daily level of structure, but I thought it was this is not. But even with this, we are very much in a seller's market. This is very much bearish. We can actually draw out a few things. I might actually have to use a channel tool. We'll just draw that out here. So you can see the initial idea for the strong sells, this trend line. Very self-explanatory. It is a line showing you the trend of the market, the general direction. And since I can see the bearish market, we should be looking more along the lines of potential sells. Now, we are looking more along the lines of a bullish pullback, though. And we kind of already had it, but I think there might be a little bit more because of what the market is currently showing us. We did have a break of the structure and a retest of said structure. But as we scale down to smaller time frames, the market started giving us a little bit more clues to identify maybe this isn't the best break and retest for a sell. maybe there should be another idea, an opportunity like just within our grasp. So what I can see here is when we scale down to the 4-hour time frame is one of my favorite patterns to trade, head and shoulders, or inverted head and shoulders pattern, if you will. Let me just double check real quick. GA, I got you. If you don't mind, GJ next. Probably the majority. So if we look at one pound pair, other pound pairs are probably going to do the same. I think we might see a little bit of a pullback on some of these yen pairs, though. I will say that, because yen pairs are out of this world. I will see that, I will say that I think GJ may have a bearish tone to it a little bit. But we'll take a look at that after as well. And I think somebody else said GBP AUD. Well, I'll take a look at GBP AUD as well. A lot of pound pairs. I know they're volatile, but damn. All right, so again, since we are looking at the idea that there was a break and retest to the downside, there was that idea of the sell. But when we look at this overall, we are kind of getting a very important pattern. Again, one of my favorite patterns being the inverted head and shoulders pattern. Real simple. So we already have the break of that neckline of the pattern itself. So with the break of that neckline, what else are we looking at? The retest of that said structure. Now I only have a line there just so that way you guys can identify the structure. I don't want to, deter anybody by how I draw up my markets and draw, my technical analysis and, my zones. Oh, why is his zone like that? I'm only looking at a general area. I'm not doing anything specific. I know there's a minor break to the downside of where I drew my line. I'm just looking at that as a visual, right? And as a visual, I can see that it just came back to retest a level of previous structure that it was broken out of. And it did try to break lower, but it cannot. And currently on the 4-hour, again, we still have about 2 hours left for this 4-hour candle to close. But that's the break and retest of the neckline of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. That's important. And what we're currently getting is a bullish engulfing candlestick from that range. Again, not closed, so it's still going to vary. We got to identify it as it closes to really confirm if it is a bullish engulfing. But as of right now, it is. So what I can see if I scroll down to a smaller time frame was, and I was actually hoping this gave us a double bottom. It did not. But what we can see is, since we are kind of creating this small little range, I'll actually make this more catered to current price. Oh, my tools don't want to work now. So even though I was hoping for that double bottom right there, but not quite. But we are kind of setting in a range. I'll put this more specific to what we're looking at here. So I would like to see, for continued buys, a break above this minor level of current structure. If we get a break above that, obviously more buys are going to continue. Now, if we don't and we just stay within this little range, then it's probably just building up more strength for that buy. Or obviously for that sell. The break below either end of the high or low here will determine the true direction. And I'll just put, you can obviously add other points of structure. That's a level of support. I know a lot of you guys, I always get messages like, Jay, why do you only have like 3 things on your chart? Because I don't care what happened in 200 BC, to be real. Like, if all this back here, I can't make money off of this. So I'm not going to mark that up. Understanding the previous weekly highs and monthly highs and lows, that is going to take about 3 years for that analysis to even hit. I'm not about that. The right now analysis, obviously I got to pay attention to what previously happened as well. That's obviously important. But the right now analysis, what can get me 20, 30, 50, 100 pips, is showing me more along the lines of a bullish idea. I'm hoping we get the break above these highs, because then it'll really truly confirm that said idea. And good transition to go take a look at GBP AUD, which is probably selling like crazy, but it should be looking for strong buys here soon. So I was looking at this as a strong seller's market since we had that weekly break of that trend line. Since we did have the weekly break of that trend line, I expect a correction to the upside. The reason being, after a strong impulsive move, you're always going to get a correction. Well, let me not say always, because the market right now is like, what? What'd you say? All right. It's humbling a lot of people, man. The conditions of the markets are not favorable for myself and the majority of other technical traders. I even think banks right now, I think, who was it? I forgot which one. I have a news feed going on in my Discord, and I actually stumbled upon it. It was one of the articles, and it was saying basically one of the a few banks were having a few discrepancies with the markets as well, if you will, because a lot of it's geopolitical. The fundamentals within the market, rather, even that banks don't even have control over. Again, what's happening, worldwide. I don't even think I could say it now because YouTube, I already got a message saying it, so I can't even say anything about it. But I would say, you guys are very privy to it. So with this, I do see a strong bearish market. I mean, obviously, that's a clear indication. But with that strong bearish market, we are leading into a strong level of support. So we'll actually put strong structure. So I know everybody has different ways of calling or identifying their structure points. I can't see structure. There we go. If you guys, I'm legally blind. No, I really am. Like, I have poor vision. It's hereditary in my family, unfortunately. So sorry, everybody. It is windy. Damn, it's so windy. Like something just like flew by my window. I was like, what was that? All right, my bad, everybody. I'm like getting distracted over here. All right, so since I do see the level of strong support down here, or structure rather, I would expect some type of pullback from this range. So let's actually make this range a little bit more, I would say, tailor-made to the real analysis. And we are within that zone. The reason why I don't have my zones that big is because as I scale down to the smaller time frames, you guys will be able to start to see that everything will be blue. Like you won't be able to see your candlesticks. But when we scale down to the daily time frame, there's a few things that we can identify. I'm going to get rid of the zone just so that way, again, there's no confusion. We did break, even though we were at a low, we did break another low point there, which is, and with a very significant candlestick at that. So we'll actually take a look at that candle. If you guys don't know your candlestick patterns, I suggest you do, because that will help you understand a lot of, it'll cancel out a lot of noise, right? You're like, oh, is that going to respect structure? And then you see the candlestick, like, nah. You know what I mean? You'll be able to identify the characteristics of them, and then as they develop, you'll be able to see the true direction of where the market intends on going. Let me just make sure if you don't, okay, just want to make sure you guys are good. And again, welcome everybody on the stream right now. I know you guys, for anybody who's just jumping on, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Again, I just want to continue growing this community and this stream and this YouTube with just consistency and a lot of value. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being on and spending some time with us this morning. So again, since I see the break of that low, it's very important for me to identify that sellers are pretty much still in this market. And we should be looking for continued sells until we start to see a development of potential buys. We are within that area for us to identify any potential buys. Now, as of right now, I don't see that. And I know a lot of you guys are like, but you were just looking for buys on GJ and GU and all. I know the way that the markets are working, because usually when you have a pair or a certain market rather, let's say the pound, for instance, that should correlate across, well, I wouldn't say always, but across the board, you're going to see the majority of pound pairs moving in the same direction. Not identical by no means, but usually if one pound pair is bullish, the majority of others are bullish as well in their own right. As of right now, we don't have that at all. What we are seeing is everything's acting as their own individuals, which should be traded as such. But right now, I mean, we're looking at buys for GU and we're looking for sells at GA. There was not too long ago where we would be looking for sells on both or buys on both, because they usually work in tangent. Not always, and definitely not identical, but usually the correlation between them. But as of right now, I mean, we could look for continued sells up until this market shows us any type of potential buys. Now, if you're wondering where those sells should be, I mean, just look at the charts right here on the 4 hour. Even if we looked at it on the 1 hour, it'd be the same. But what we can see is a break of that set structure with no retest. Makes sense? So what we can do here is, since we do have an impulsive break to the downside, and it does seem as if we're starting to get a correction, or at least the attempt of one, now we can use a tool called the Fibonacci Retracement. I would actually go from where the candle or the break started, and we can see here that we have a nice little sell kill zone. Simply put. So let's actually write sell kill zone. Did I put, oh, I thought I put lull zone. I was like, damn. All right, so sell kill zone. I mean, simply put, and then you could add other confluence or use whatever strategy that you guys use to, you know, feel more confident and add the probabilities in your favor for the trade. But that's what I would identify with GBP AUD. And now we'll go take a look at GBP JPY. And let's see. All right, so let's take a look at GJ. Perfect. So this, I'm so angry and fed up with like the majority of these yen pairs, to be honest. I actually was looking, and the sells were beautiful. Actually, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of my weird looking strategy. But we had every indication, at least for my strategy here, for sells right here, right? And the sells worked out beautifully, and now the market has corrected back up. I am going to look for some more potential sells, because there is what I would consider is just something that I call a legacy line trade. Just fancy wording for my strategy, honestly. Nothing special, nothing special. Just cool little ring to it. But we do have the idea of a legacy line trade setting up. So I do want to look for more potential sells because we are looking at least for GJ to lose. It looks like the majority of yen pairs, they are looking to lose a little bit of steam, or looking as if they are. I mean, we already have such a strong impulsive move to the downside. On the higher time frames, that's important as well. Again, the reason being why it's important is because of the candlestick reversal patterns that have taken place so far with these three candles. If you want to look at one in particular, that one alone being the bearish engulfing, right? So if you don't understand what these three candlesticks mean as far as a pattern together, I suggest you definitely look that up. And it's not to sound rude. Again, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm saying that to be disrespectful, or I don't want to give you the information. That's not the case whatsoever. When you learn or you do your own analysis or your own research or your own studying, you retain that knowledge a lot more. So you're able to understand it to a concept way more than anybody could try to explain to you, because you've broken it down and helped yourself understand it. So there's nobody else that can explain it better than yourself. So just in case anybody's like, damn, he's telling me to go do this myself, what am I on for? I promise. There's little subtleties that I'm doing to help you guys progress as much as I can with these quick streams. So trust me. So I do suggest that you guys understand these three candlesticks put together, because that alone is going to show you what can happen. I'm not going to say what is, because GJ, the majority of these yen pairs are doing whatever the fuck they want. So I would look for potential sells roughly around this area. The yen pairs are way too, I would say, I'm not an advocate of ever saying way too overbought, way too oversold. I am a huge advocate of obviously letting things trend. I mean, that's what they're doing. But at the same time, like, these things are very parabolic in the sense of they're way too overbought. There should be looking for some type of correction here soon, because when we scale out to a higher time frame, this is what you would call no man's land. There's nothing here. There's nothing stopping this market from being any type of, sells. So I would look for potential corrective sells, but now that we're on a higher time frame, just to like show you what I would look for in the future is, I mean, this is a very strong bullish market. We should look for continued buys long term. Where from? Probably here. The level of structure that was currently broken out of, or previously rather. We can see this was a strong resistance point. I'll just put strong structure. So strong structure, however you want to call it, supply, demand, resistance, order block. There's so many different ways of calling shit now. So I'm just going to call it a level of strong structure, right? Because that price is telling me that there should have been some resistance, some type of, fight, that the market should have been like, you know what, buyers, you guys are taking over way too long. Let's have sellers having a chance. Nah, they're not even allowing sellers to get back into this market in the majority of all yen pairs. So what I would be looking for, at least the minimum, is a corrective move. So this is our impulse. This is our correction. Hopefully, if it does ever correct, because there is no correction currently. So if there is a correction, I would be identifying this as our potential re-entry for buys. Strong buys at that. So long term, potential buy zone. And I say long term, excuse me, I say long term because if this is met, I mean, we're not going to hold these, or we're not going to, get out of these buys anytime soon. Look at where the next real structure is. I'm going to have to go into the monthly, which would be absolutely insane, by the way. There is some type of structure roughly around here. I'm not an advocate of that. I am an advocate of these highs up here, though. Right? I am a huge advocate of those highs being met. Obviously, if that's broken, we have more highs that we can even reach. So it's not impossible, right? It's not like this market can't ever be a strong buy. It's just this was such a strong sell for so long. It's weird seeing it be such a strong buy. You know what I mean? Especially where is 2016, where Brexit happened. Yeah, right around here, right? Since then, I mean, I know since Brexit, which was 2016, if I'm correct, just to try to be as accurate as possible, when I think the European, I forgot who was trying to secede from who. It's been so long. But I think the European Union was trying to secede. And that would obviously I think they were trying to create their own currency. They're just basically their own everything. And what that did was it drove all pound pairs, I think even euro pairs, 3,000 to 5,000 pips, right on its head within seconds. I do understand that they've been trying to recoup from that, which does seem to be the sense of what's currently happening with the majority of our pound pairs. And obviously right now just on GJ. So that's why I'm looking at strongly a lot of pound pairs to be a lot more bullish, because they are kind of, they've been trying to recoup from that. And it's been really long time. It's been years. It's 2022 and they're just getting back to where those highs previously were. I think they're actually now just above it, which is important. So if we can see the break or continue push to the upside, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that we would have buys all the way up until here and all the way up until here. Again, it's not impossible for these highs to be met. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, really? Damn, it is a long way. But I'm not going to simply say and be like, I'm not going to lie to you guys and be like, will I hold a trade for that long? Probably not. Actually, definitely not. But I will be able to understand that when I jump onto a chart, and if I already placed an entry and I took profits on that, I now still feel confident. Well, okay, I was looking for buys. I made profits on buys. Where's the next buy that I can get into? Because I know for a long term, this is probably going to reach these highs. And that's going to take a while because I'm on the monthly time frame. And if that's the case, this would take even longer because, again, now I'm on the monthly time frame. The last time this was that high was March of 07. So right before the housing crisis here in America. And I say that because British pound, Japanese yen didn't really, I don't know if it had an effect at that time for them. I highly doubt it. But if it did, that's the move there. That's actually pretty crazy. But yeah, I would be looking for majority of continued buys to the upside for, or hopefully sells rather, at least back down to here. But for long term, I'd be looking for buys. And we could actually do something like this as well. We could take a Fibonacci Retracement tool, swing highs, swing low. We have the 786, which is a strong fib ratio. We are leading back into a level of previous structure. We can actually add a Fibonacci Extension tool as well to see if that structure down there is accurate. And there you go. We're just roughly in that 618. So I will be looking for sells from this point, a corrective sell, a counter trend trade, if you will, back down to those lows where you currently see, and then I'll be looking for strong buys, especially now that we have further confidence. Buys look very, very good from there. And let me see. Thanks, bro. Yep. Thanks for your good job, bro. Philip Amambaba. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say anybody's name. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. Never a problem. I just want to, try to build this and have this be as valuable as possible. I think it's really important that we continue to just build this off of value and consistency. And I almost spilled my water all over my desk. That would have been terrible. I have like a bunch of stuff, like computer here, stereo there, so that everything would have just went up in flames. All right, so what other charts, what other markets you guys want to take a look at? Feel free to let me know. I definitely got you guys. And real quick, I appreciate you guys being on. I know it's only a few of you, but I want to extend my gratitude for everybody who's currently on. If you guys can do me one quick favor, though, it really helps. And again, I just want to build this off of transparency and as much value as possible. I put a lot of time and I invested a lot of time, a lot of money into this too. I got a lot more coming. I try to do as much as I can as one person for you guys and also for my legacy students. So I'm just trying to get everything moved around. If you guys could just like this, that'd be perfect. I just want a thumbs up, a like on this, so that way I can stay motivated, continuously do this, give you guys as much of my value and obviously profits as possible as well. And then, yeah, like this, share this, get somebody on. I really want to make sure that I'm impacting everybody in a positive manner. So that way, obviously, in the future, you guys can seek that financial freedom and even just the time. It's not the financial freedom. It's really just the time that I want to give back to you guys because time is precious. I know nobody want to be working forever, or at least you want to make some type of, stable profits, whether it's, $500 a month or $500 a day. It could help. So definitely got you guys. If you guys could do me that favor, bam, bam. Appreciate it. All right. So I don't see any other charts that you guys want to take a look at. Let me just go back to the live chat. Yep, never a problem, yo. Hey, graphics are fine. Yo, I appreciate that, Nikki. I still got a little bit of work to do on it. I'm just trying, to make things a little bit more valuable for you guys. Again, just want to, heighten the quality of things. I see a lot of other traders doing good things with YouTube. I want to do the same. I want to make sure that I can give back to everybody. And I'm also just trying to maneuver some business things, make some value to you guys, but not make it as, stressful, I would say. Make it a little bit, a lot less, I would say, still interactive, but you guys won't have to do too much, if that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I still got some work to do with the graphics. I got my phone over here and everything, looking at your comments and questions, but Yeah, I'm out here trying. All right, so what other markets you guys want to take a look at? What other charts? What other questions? What else you guys got, if anything? I will take a look at what are some other charts? I think I was looking at Euro NZD previously as well. I think I got some markups here. Morning, buddy. What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so let me see real quick. I did have some charts here that I hope I didn't delete the analysis because I did want to. What was this? AUD NZ. I guess our stops were hit on that. Unfortunately, you can't win every trade. AUD, was it this? I think it was AU. No, it was not. Sometimes I delete. Oh, here it is. Okay, one of these. I knew it was one of these from yesterday. This is why I don't delete my analysis, because I'll be like, oh, what chart was I looking at? And then I have no idea. But this is a market we were looking at yesterday that we can actually speak on because we haven't really gotten too much on this. We appreciate everything. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all patience, y'all support, and just overall your just humbleness to everything, honestly. You guys, I can't say this enough, but I really do love my legacy students. You guys are literally the best. I've had previous, runs at MLM companies, and I had to work with so many different people, and it was never a good time. But literally, I've built this community with you guys, and it's been absolutely amazing. So I appreciate you guys. You have no idea. So I did want to speak on this because we are looking at a very ranging market, which we could take advantage of. As you guys can see here, this was actually done yesterday, our analysis, and we're just coming back to reanalyze this, see if there's any opportunities for any type of money. So if I scale down to a small time frame, I mean, we kind of missed the opportunity, if you will. We were off by a few hours. If anything, I'm definitely not awake at the time that this was started to be a sell. But you guys can see exactly what we're looking at here. A very simplistic idea and approach to this trade, or this market rather, because every market's going to be different, right? You're not going to just trade it, one market one way and then do exactly and try to do this exact same thing on something else. We got to treat them as individuals. And as we can see here, this isn't trending. Well, it was trending, but currently it is ranging. And since we are seeing a range within that market, what can we do? We can trade the range, right? We could trade from the highs to those lows. Obviously, I wouldn't say go ahead and sell right now, because selling from a current low point and we're at what you would consider the median of your range, just if you guys are, it's just all common sense. I'm pretty sure you guys understand that. The median being the middle point, just basically the middle point, the small support and or resistance before it reaches the small support and or resistance on the other side. So I wouldn't be looking for any sells right now, but let's say this comes right back down to this level of structure. Can you look for buys from there? Absolutely. So the trade setup would look exactly like this. You would, wrong tool. You would buy from here. Your stop loss will go right below that level. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, stop hunts, bank trading, that's what they want. I'm not a huge advocate of that. That's just me personally. I have taken the time out to actually study it, research it. I'm still doing it so that way I have a better understanding and maybe even more of a respect for it. But a lot of the time, what we're looking at is just a wide range of structure. You know what I mean? Like this wick down here should be covered in my analysis. I personally don't, because that's just me. I can see that. I visualize that. I am taking that into consideration, but I don't need to mark that up in the chart, because at least as me as an individual, I know that that's there. But that will be the entire zone. So my structure will go right below this zone point, and I'll actually put, in this point, which is 25 pips, right? 25, 30 pips. I have a 30 pip minimum of the majority of my trades, or depending on the market. Gold, obviously more. NAS 100 or US 30. Obviously, you can't put 30 pips of stop loss on that. So it's always going to vary. But in a market like this, I would have about 30 pips. And then obviously your take profit is going to be at these highs. Now, the beautiful thing about range trading, if you will, is if in fact it breaks above, you're already at the entry down here. What do you got to do? Just make more money, right? And obviously, if it started to sell, same thing. Let's say you sold from the highs here and you don't take profits because it broke right through. Now you're looking at more profits to the downside of wherever it wants to go. So that's the beauty about range trading. It's just not favorable because right now there's not that many ranging markets. I would say consolidated, yes, but ranging, no. There's a difference between both. So this is a beautiful range that anybody can trade if you would like to make easy money. And I don't mean to say like easy money, like get rich quick, by no means. But in the sense of what we can identify, level of previous structure, support. Now we're identifying that resistance, important, right? We can identify potential trade opportunities from these areas. And again, if either end is broken, that's where the market truly intends on wanting to go. So if we have a break above, the market is going to continue to be bullish. If it breaks below, being market structure, we can start looking for any type of indications for potential reversals. So hopefully that kind of all makes sense. Let me see. Dogecoin. You think it's ready to take off? I beg to differ. So here's my take on cryptos, everybody. Don't get caught up with the hype. Where do you see the buys? Right? Where do you see the buys? I see a sell. I'm on the weekly time frame. I see a break of previous structure. I see the retest of that. I don't see no buys as of yet. Right? We are not at a structural point as of yet. Almost. Maybe down here on a technical standpoint. Obviously, this would be the whole range, but I'm just looking at, I'm just identifying the actual high of that point. I would say buys from there. Maybe. Right? The majority of all cryptos we'll actually take a look at some cryptocurrencies right now. The majority of all cryptos, in my opinion, are all going to sell. Now, I don't want anybody beating me up on me saying that and be like, yo, my investments, everything, I get it. But what we have to understand is what we're getting, like what the market is leaving behind, rather, the clues. So, no, I don't see any buys on this. And just to give you a wider idea is, let me actually do it like this. I don't feel like typing. What is Bitcoin doing, right? Because Bitcoin is giving us a strong idea. What we can look at, oh, I pressed the wrong button. There we go. What we are looking at in the majority of what cryptocurrencies do is they kind of follow the grandpappy, the grandfather of it all, right? Bitcoin itself for the majority of all cryptocurrencies. So if I can see what I see here on Bitcoin, excuse me, I can then identify the potential future of not all, because I know all cryptocurrencies are different. They're applicable in their own different ways, but I see a downward move on the majority of cryptocurrencies. Let me just see real quick. Yes, it's in midair from what I see. Yes, it is in midair, Nikki. You're absolutely right. So what I can see with Bitcoin is this. I know I just keep saying break and retest, but at the same time, like, that's the market. If that's what it's giving us, we have to identify it. I would say that there is an idea of this break and retest here. Level of previous structure, created a new low. These were high points, lower high, lower high. This was not a lower low because market structure was being held, and now we have a lower low. I would say, if anything, we're going to come back down at least to these levels, if not lower. Now my tools don't want to work. What's that? There we go. So I would be looking at something like that. You know what I mean? At least Bitcoin coming down here, that would be a great idea because then everybody can invest from there. Do I think that's going to be the case? No. Because this is the impulsive move. This is the correction. The next impulse will probably be pretty significant. Now, if you want to talk on a fundamental aspect, and where I, just real quick before I even go on that, I do believe it's going to come crashing down to here. I know a lot of people are like, what? You're crazy. Trust me. Nobody believed that was going to sell, even though it came back up. Nobody believed that. I also said that this was starting to form a head and shoulders pattern. I'm hoping you guys can see that now. Everybody's like, nah, Jay, technicals don't work with cryptocurrency. The head and shoulders pattern did break at the neckline, and it's showing us the clear telltale signs of what happens after a head and shoulders pattern is developed and actually valid. You get that break, the retest, and builds up the volatility and momentum needed to then sell further. So I do think the majority of cryptos, Bitcoin, especially Ethereum, they will start selling on a technical standpoint, and even on a fundamental standpoint. Now big banks, institutions, where it was illegal and they were unable to start trading and even invest into cryptocurrencies on a personal aspect and even on a corporate aspect, are now able to start investing into these markets. What does that mean? Let's go back into what we started learning when we first started learning how to trade, right? Do you ever buy at the highs? No. So what do you think anybody with big money is going to do? Wait, they're not going to buy when it's at 70,000. They're going to buy when it's at 10, right? Maybe even $10. I'm over here talking about $10,000, but imagine if it gets to those low points, especially with now how easy it is to get into to cryptocurrency. There's so many different apps, so many different places, and just everything, right? if if I'm a betting person, which as traders we bet in a sense, I would say anybody with common sense is going to buy at the next lowest point. It's not at the next lowest point yet, right? It's developing and leading into getting to the next point. It's just not there yet. For legacy students, it's going to take a while for me to tell you when to start investing into cryptos. But when the time comes, obviously I will let you guys know, because this is really important for us to identify, right? The future of cryptocurrencies is important because I do think it will take over fiat currency. Obviously, I'm over here to talk about the sell-off of cryptocurrencies, but the future of it is bright and almost inevitable. So I do see this at least pushing to the downside, and just go back to Dogecoin, because I know that's originally what we're speaking on. But the reason why I came over here is because if we can see what's happening to Bitcoin, it's probably going to happen here with Dogecoin, and the majority across the board for other cryptocurrencies as well. Like if we go take a look at Ethereum, that's on a seller's market too. This had was this Ethereum head and shoulders pattern? I guess it was Ripple or another one. I don't know why I thought this had a head and shoulders pattern. But I mean, kind of the same sense here. For Ethereum, break, retest. We're breaking market structure. We're creating newer lows. We're creating lower highs, lower lows. And we haven't met a significant structure point. We are creating structure points, but now we could just say that this is an arranging market between there and there. Until one end is broken, we'll have an idea of where the majority of these cryptos will end up going. But I do think that we should be looking for more downward movement. Now, I don't day trade cryptos by no means. Like I'm not on MT4, MT5, placing buys and sells. I'm investing into cryptocurrencies. I allow these, cryptos to make their moves and just build me money over time. This is my 2 to 5 year retirement plan, if you will, because what happens, Shiba Inu. If one of my students if you're on here, Kenneth, I'm going to shout you out only because it was like the best thing I've ever heard. One of our students, one of our legacy students, when we were in Shiba Inu and I was preaching it, and it's all recorded too, which is crazy. I actually want to find that recording. We were at these lows and we're in this ranging market. And with cryptocurrency, the reason why I'm speaking on this is because even with a little bit of money, you can make a substantial amount. And that's why I'm just investing into cryptocurrencies and not trading it. Yes, you can make a lot of money trading it as well. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody thinking that you can't. You absolutely can. But in the sense of like what I'm looking for is long-term growth, right? Something that I could just put money into, allow it to grow over time, kind of like a dividend stock, if you will, which is just basically the more money you have into the, shares, and obviously more shares you have, more money you have, it's the company, more money you make. But the longer you hold your initial shares, you get rewarded for that. That's just kind of like the same concept I have trading cryptocurrencies. But the beautiful thing is they're so much more volatile. And with this and one of our students, he put, I think, $2,000 in, and he made, I don't know how much, but he did say he made over well over six figures from the initial breakout here, right? From here to wherever, I don't know where he got out. I hope he didn't get out here, because if that's six figures, that's probably seven. I haven't seen him since then, so he probably made seven and just like bought his own island or some shit. So the reason why I'm speaking on that is because it's about the right time to invest into these cryptocurrencies and at the right places, right? You really have to identify when it's the right place to invest. So if we go back to Dogecoin, I don't think right now is the best time. I know I'm back and forth, but I'm just trying to give you guys as much value as possible and answer any and all questions, even without you guys having to ask. But again, we're not at a strong buy zone yet. Will it get to there? Potentially, just not there yet. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Just kind of tackle all aspects of why I don't think Dogecoin is going to be profitable or bullish as of yet, where I do think it will be ending up bullish from. And even if it's not bullish from there, then I just don't think Dogecoin will be it. I think the majority of cryptos that we should be looking at are just like the majors, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin. There's so many, Cardano, like you name it, But eventually they will be profitable and I would say bullish, just not right now, unfortunately. And let me see what we have in the chat really quick. Let me just see. There's a low from 2019 that Bitcoin never retested, and I believe it matches up with your analogy of where you see Bitcoin dropping to. I'll drop my chart in your Discord for you to look. Yep, I got you. I'll take a look at that right after this, actually. Am I still live with you guys? Okay, cool. because my shit froze really quick. I was like, no. I was doing these on Facebook, and Facebook just, I would do them, and then it'll take everybody off. It'll block the stream because they thought I was playing music in the beginning, and I wasn't. I know I do it here, but I thought the same thing was happening now. I was like, damn, I just put my heart out to this, and nobody's listening. But nah, that's cool. Yep, never a problem. Never a problem at all. I'm glad that you got your analysis done for cryptocurrencies. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, anything else you guys got? I'm over here just looking at the time and everything. But yeah, if you guys have any other markets you guys want to take a look at, feel free to let me know. I'm going to just see if there's anything that could be tradable right now. Let me just skim through some of these charts. One of my high school teachers got me into this weird habit of looking at, like, starting from the bottom in the sense of like instructions or a list, being because he gave us, it was like an essay or some type of work in high school where I think the number one thing for on the list for you to do was, it said, make sure you go over everything from bottom to top and then top to bottom, making sure that you're thorough. But it literally meant go from the bottom and continue up. I weirdly do that here. So if you ever see me start from like all the way down here and then work my way up, that's the reason being. But what basically that has done is it actually has helped me be as thorough as possible. Like I'll start from like the lowest to the highest, and the highest to the lowest. It's the weirdest thing, but if you ever see me do it, I apologize. It's like a weird little, I guess, like ADD, if you will. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna see if there's anything that we could potentially trade. I mean, these yen pairs right now, again, are just ridiculous. And what's crazy is some of them aren't even offering up like solid re-entries. It's just climbing, and they're just so impulsive that some of them aren't even in allowing like really, I would say, high probable entries. You could probably have just bought this out of nowhere and obviously have been profitable. But in the sense of having a trade set up, it hasn't really given us one. So it's kind of difficult, even for myself, to sit back and say, oh, it's definitely going to buy and sell from there. I don't think so. I mean, even if we scale out to higher time frames, understand what previously happened. Like this was where I was looking for sells. I think everybody was looking for sells from here, right? That was a strong sell zone. No sells. If I'm correct, where was even over here? This was another sell zone. Definitely not. So in my opinion, especially with how these markets are setting up, and I know I'm on the monthly, but I mean, at this time we have to be. We're not looking for any sells on USD JPY up until that point. Seems as if the dollar is weirdly gaining strength. It's just weird how the markets are kind of working right now. They're not correlated. Nothing's being correlated. Some are so impulsive. Some are stuck. So yeah, I'd be careful with some of these yen pairs, but I'm gonna take a quick look at them. The market has been funky as hell lately. It has, yo. It really has, said the wolf. Yeah, I mean, it really has. It's the conditions. And just to be really honest and transparent with you guys, I have had a losing month last month, and I'll probably be having a losing month this month as well. And that's the first time I've had a losing month in general, and also back to back in, I would say, 6 years. You know what I mean? And that's just being transparent. That's just being open. You're never going to win every trade. Nobody's perfect in trading. I don't want anybody thinking that I'm a guru, because I'm not. I don't want anybody thinking that anybody else is a guru, because there is no such thing as a forex or a trading guru. If you're a guru, you make no losses. And that's not the case. So it's not just you or anybody. Like if you're losing, if you're, your setups are not coming through, I promise you it's not yourself. It's not you. It's not your trade style. It's not anything that you're doing. It's the conditions of the markets. I mean, look at what's going on worldwide. Again, I can't say it because I already got an email stating that I can't say specific things, such as the thing that's going around the world for the last 2 years. And also a man that just likes to, take other people's things. We'll put it like that. But especially with this, what I can speak on, like the sanctions, all these new like it's just a lot going on, and it's having a huge effect on the market. So if you're like anybody like myself, even don't get deterred. Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose. You're going to lose some trades. The market conditions, we can't control what the market does. We can only predict. So if you're in like a losing funk right now, you're good. Don't worry about it. Marcus, it does seem as if they're shaping up a little bit better, though. I will say that. Because some were just so impulsive that they were just making moves. Like it'll buy for 1 second, 100 pips, drop back down 100 pips. It was kind of getting crazy like that. But I do starting to see them to shape up a little bit better. But at least with USD JPY, I'll just write this out real quick. Strong structure. And as I write this, watch it be broken out to the upside by tomorrow. Strong structure. There we go. What? Oh, I was like, what? I can't spell. It's like I can't see anything. All right, so strong structure. If we get to that point with USD JPY, I might start looking for some strong sells. I doubt it though, because look at how impulsive that is on the monthly time frame. That's a giant candlestick. That's telling us buys. So yeah, I'd be very cautious with that, but I'll be looking for some sells at least from that range. As of right now, nah, definitely not. USD JPY, the majority of all US cross pairs, I mean, gaining strength. Even if we take a look at DXY, oh, that's a JXY. See, I got to put my context in. Still, yeah, even still, DXY just extremely bullish. And as you see here, I'm looking at just this being our potential sell point. But yeah, I mean, these markets have been a little bit crazy. Where gold, and it's crazy because if anybody understands the relationship between gold and the dollar and what it's supposed to be, when gold is pushing up, the dollar or the DXY should be selling as well, or selling in general rather. And we're not getting that. Gold's increasing, the dollar's increasing. It's just a weird time, weird correlation. Let me just see real quick. I've just been sitting on my hands last few weeks because I'm not really seeing anything I like. Said the wolf. I definitely agree with that. And I might actually do the same leading into April, only because I really want to see how these markets develop. Usually between like April, or not even April, May to August are usually like some of the best trading that anybody can get. I know a lot of people say it's not because it slows down, but even so, like right now, we do need a slower pace market. I don't care what anybody says. I know, like, oh no, we need volatility. Yes, we do, but we don't need, a market to go 1,000 pips in one direction in a week or even in a few days, especially in the wrong direction, based off of fundamentals, based off of what's happening worldwide, because that's something we can't control, right? When setups happen, when we have our technical analysis and everything comes into play, then yes, absolutely. But in this sense, nah. So I might actually sit on my hands a little bit as well, see how the markets really work. I might actually just trade or scalp US 30. And I might actually just do that with legacy students, do that at night or sometime, whenever you guys want to, for the most part. I want to start trading or scalping that for the meantime, because this is just, the majority of other markets are kind of crazy. And speaking on US 30, if anybody's wondering, I'm looking at strong sells on these. I'm on the weekly, so let me scale down really quick. I'm looking at strong sells on all indices, which in fact will bring strong buys to gold. When indices, US 30, SPX 500, NAS 100, when those are selling, gold is buying, and vice versa. So I am going to be looking for some sells on indices such as US 30, in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah, I'm telling you, yo. And what's crazy is so with my auto, and just again, transparency, my auto trader has not been profitable since I don't even know if I can say the word, but since my man's out there across the pond wanted to, flex some muscles, it hasn't been profitable since then. And like leading into New Year's, beautiful. Everything was beautiful blues. And then with this, it's just, you can see the effect that what's happening worldwide is happening on the charts, because even for myself to not have a profitable month 2 times in a row, even for myself, that's a little bit different, so the effect that's having on the market is very real, unfortunately. But that's why I'm also heavily invested into cryptocurrencies, because I think long term, with how everything's going to pan out, cryptocurrency is going to take over, because it's a safer bet. I'm not a crypto expert, unfortunately. I wouldn't say an expert, but I'm an advocate or a consistently profitable trader for forex for the past 6-7 years. I will say that with cryptocurrencies, you can't have. I know there are fundamental effects that happen with it, but as far as like what's happening now, that's not having an effect on it. So I think long term, if anything was to, outside hands was to be doing anything, if the world was going up into flames, cryptocurrency wouldn't be negatively affected. So that's why I'm so transitioning into the idea of even day trading cryptocurrencies solely over forex pairs at some point, maybe in the future, like a few years from now, obviously, because everything's tied in with forex. I would definitely be looking down that road in the future, because man, Biden speaks, any news release is just, it's kind of crazy. Even NFP is not NFP anymore, right? It's not what it used to be because everything's being affected way before that. You know what I mean? Everything's like all the energy, all the money is being, surplus and stuff. So it's a very weird time. But yeah, what other questions, comments that you guys have, feel free to let me know. Oh, I thought you guys could see my picture in the background over here. It says Legacy. Got a cool little picture over there. I swear, I'm trying to get this stream over here cool for you guys so that way it's, favorable and high quality. But I'm setting everything up and it's literally for you guys. So that way I can give back to the community that we have and that we're growing. So definitely appreciate you guys. Well, let me see. Any questions, comments that you guys may have? Any other charts, markets? If so, let me know. If not, we'll conclude here shortly. Been on for like an hour and a half or so. So I really want to make sure that, again, giving you guys as much time and value as possible, but also not wasting your time and going on overboard. And because I see people streaming for like 4 hours, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? There's only so much you can go over. There's only so much you can do. But yeah, what else you guys got? If anything, again, I just want to make sure if you have any questions, I answer those questions to the best of my abilities. Really give back to the Forex community and help you guys understand everything as well. So yeah, even if you guys don't have questions now, if you want to hit me up on Facebook, Discord, Instagram, anything, feel free to let me know. I'm also available on those. I'll actually have all those links here on the bottom. Well, the links are in the description below, at least for the Discord if you're not a part of it. But at least with everything else, you have my socials in the description, so that way you guys can obviously contact me with anything that you guys need. But yeah, I don't see anything so far. I know there's a pretty significant delay between myself and you guys. So I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm just going to sit and see if there's anything that you guys have. If not, again, we'll conclude for today. I personally won't be doing any trading today. I probably won't be doing any trading until maybe April-ish, like mid-April, just to really, again, allow the markets to develop, really see what it's going to be doing. Obviously, I'll still be giving back as far as sessions are concerned. Obviously, with Legacy students, I'll always be available with you guys. I'm always going to be doing sessions with you guys. I'm also waiting for you guys to let me know. Oh, actually, I'll put I didn't even put the vote on it. But with the Legacy line strategy, this is for legacy students. With the legacy line strategy, I know I'll put the PDF out for you guys. If you have any questions about it, always feel free to let me know. I'm always going to be available. And also, we're going to be doing the sessions. I tried getting a session with you guys last night, but I know that the evening sessions for some people are very difficult with families going to sleep super early for work. Even time differences. I didn't realize how many people are from like elsewhere, and the time differences are so vast. So I will be trying to actually do those maybe on the weekend with you guys, if you would like, as far as legacy line sessions. Maybe we could jump on maybe, in the afternoon. I'm not waking up early on the weekends. I don't expect you guys to, but maybe we can get that going on the weekends as well. So that way we can really get this legacy line strategy out and really help you guys understand how that works for an insane amount of profits. The legacy line strategy, in case anybody is wondering, looks something like this without the TDI. And it's just, I know it looks crazy, it looks weird, but for me, this has helped me significantly with entries and just overall trading. Like right now, I ain't gonna lie, US 30 looking real solid for a sell, like literally from where it's at. And there might be an entry where we're currently looking at with US 30 with stops right above that. So I might actually place that, depending. I'm gonna let that work and develop a little bit, but I might actually be placing some sells there on US 30. I'm gonna leave this here so that way we can come back tomorrow and see if this actually was valid. We'll be like, okay, legacy line strategy work. But I'll get rid of everything, but we'll keep that like that. Now, obviously, I'm not in this right now, so don't go ahead and place that. We got to let this develop and work a little bit more before we identify it as an actual sell. But the way that legacy line just looked, it definitely looked great. So yeah, with students, I'll definitely be going over that with you guys throughout the weekend if you would like, or obviously throughout any sessions that you guys would like as well. Let me see what you guys have. Yep, never a problem, Jocelyn, never a problem, Sima. My man, Wolf, Rome, I am Wyona. I always forget how to say that. I'm sorry. Corey, Philip, Sylvester, everybody. I really do appreciate every last one of you guys. Again, I'm trying to grow this community, as you see, trying to get the value of the stream better, trying to get a lot more information and knowledge to you guys, and as well, that'll translate to profits in your own spare time and your own individual trading as well. Obviously, as we're on these calls, I'll try to, call out any other signals or any other trades that we can place together. I'll definitely get that going for you guys as well. But for right now, this is beautiful. I love what we got going on. So you guys can do me one quick favor. Again, if you have not liked the video, please do so. This is going to help. Not myself. This is going to help you guys because the more that this stream and this community grows, the more ideas that I'm going to to have for you guys. I already have those ideas. It's just more implementing them for you guys and executing as this grows. I just need it to grow a little bit more so that way I can do some more for you guys as well. So thank you. I appreciate every last one of you guys. And if you do like this video, go ahead and please like it actually, so that way, again, we can grow. And that just, it helps me, and it helps, you know, it makes me happy in a sense, because I really love what I do, passionate about teaching, and I love to impact people's life in a positive way. So thank you guys for spending some time with me on the charts. Again, if you have any questions throughout the day, always feel free to hit me up. I'm always available. With that being said, let me make sure. Yep. Tomorrow's Friday. Jay, you doing a session? Yeah, I'm going to be on a session just to identify, review what the week has given us and game plan for next week. And then come back on Monday morning and see how the markets have developed from Sunday to Monday, and see if there's anything that we need to do, adjust, and go from there. So yes, we will have a session first thing tomorrow morning as well. I might actually do some weekend stuff as well, but for legacy students only, so that way we can get legacy line going. But yeah, definitely going to jump on a call with you guys tomorrow as well. So with that being said, thank you guys. Love every last one of you guys. Have an amazing day. Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, guys.